Hello and welcome to Top 5 Friday. I'm your host Tim Cant, and a wise man once told me, the synths start coming and they don't stop coming. All too true, and bearing that in mind, I've been self-isolating to bring you the top 5 most exciting synths to check out in 2020. Let's go! We kick off with Continua at 5. Pigments 2 is squealing into 4. Hive 2 is the bee's knees at 3. We're lining up Parallels at number 2. And Phaseplant is Verdant at the top spot. At 5, Continua by Audio Damage. Continua is a virtual analog synth at heart, but one with some exciting digital capabilities. It's got 3 analog style oscillators, the shape of which can be morphed via modulation, and the dual filters can be morphed between types too. As for those modulators, Continua has both normal ADSRs and flexible envelopes, plus there are 4 LFOs in the mix to get things moving even more. With all this modulation power comes great modulation responsibility. Every single knob in this synth is a modulation destination. Continua is available for $99. Let's check out Continua's morphing capabilities. It's morphing time, guys. We've got the default patch here. Sounds very lovely. It's using 3 oscillators. We're going to turn down 2 and 3 to just hit oscillator 1. And to muck about with this, we can use the shape, which morphs it between shapes. So starting out with a sawtooth. And we're morphing to a pulse. And then you've got your sort of siny sort of stuff down there. Now you can also skew, which gives you access to sort of pulse width sort of things, but that also works with the other types. And warp as well. So you can get a wide variety of sounds just with the oscillators. And of course, you can modulate anything. To do that, right click, you choose a source. Let's go for LFO1. We'll turn it up a wee bit. Now let's turn up the frequency. Maybe we'll have it re-trigger. You get the idea. Now, we also have filters. There's 2 of them. They're in parallel mode at the moment. All of these oscillators are only routed to filter 1, so that's the only one we're going to hear for now. You've got your cutoff and your resonance. And you can, in fact, I'm going to turn this down and we're just going to use some sawtooth so we can really hear all of those harmonics get filtered. Oh yeah, baby. You can get some nice little squelchiness going on here. And then you can morph between the filter types. Ooh, get some really nice sounds there. There's tons of other stuff going on. I'll just show you quick. There is a effects section. And you can also put the synth into unison mode when we put it in mono or retrig mode. That'll kick in. So yeah, plenty to investigate in Continua. If you like your synths analog, not too analog. At 4, Pigments 2 by Arturia. Arturia may be used to emulating classic synths in their V collection range, but with Pigments they've made a soft synth free from all real-world limitations. With analog, wavetable and sample-based synthesis types on offer, there's a little something here for everybody. Arturia's history in modelling vintage synths is in evidence here. Pigments filter types are taken from their emulations of some classic hardware. Elsewhere, there's advanced arpeggiation and sequencing, and all the expected modulation potential, plus insert and send effects to beef your sound up. The price for you, sir? €199. Let's have a quick crack at making some filthy noises with Pigments 2's wavetable synthesis type. It's pretty straightforward. You choose your wavetable here. We'll just start with the basic waveforms. And to change the position of the wavetable, you change the position knob. There you go, a little bit of Native Instruments massive flashback for you all there. To modulate that, as is my want, we'll choose our modulation source. We'll go for LFO1, and then to apply the modulation, we just turn up this little thingy here. Now that's fine, nothing too crazy. But where it gets kind of fun is with these extra modulation things. Let's add a bit of FM. Bit of phase mod. Why not a bit of phase distortion? You have to turn up the amounts. Oh yeah, you like that? Let's change our target shape. And why not some wave folding? Oh yeah! And there's a unison thing here, so we may as well have some unison. Let's, oh God. Yeah. So yeah, filth from just a few seconds of messing around. Imagine what you could do with a human mind and some ideas. Crazy. At 3, Hive 2 by Uhi. From the masters of polished plugins comes a honeycomb-scented treat. Hive 2 keeps things relatively simple, but still offers a ludicrous amount of power. 2 wavetable oscillators offer up to 16 voice unison, plus there's sub-oscillators on board to keep things solid. You've got the usual envelopes and LFO modulators too, plus Hive version 2 ups the modulation ante with shape sequencers and function generators. It's got 7 built-in effects, over 2,000 presets, 4 XY control pads, and all from mere €150. A lot of the cool new stuff in Hive 2 is modulation based. I'm gonna use one of the new modulation features very quickly to make some acid madness. I'll show you how to do that right now. So here we have the shape sequencers. There's 4 of them, A, B, C, D. We're gonna set up A so that it cycles through all of these shapes here. And this works a little bit like Massive's performance LFO. If you remember that, you can choose from various shapes and you can muck about with the curvature and the start and end position of these thingies. And then when you're done, you say, I want to use this to modulate my filter cutoff. We can just drag it over there. We'll turn the cutoff down and we will turn the modulation amount up. Let's have this on 16th notes. Lovely. Let's have some resonance. All very cool and nice and polite. Let's make it a bit filthier. Let's activate that distortion, put it in foldback mode. Here we go, guys. Hold on to your hats. So that is just scratching the surface of Hive 2's capabilities. As you can see, it's very quick to knock up your bread and butter sounds, and there's a supreme amount of depth there. So Hive 2, definitely worth checking out. At 2, Parallels by Softube. A wacky wave scanning synth that plays by its own rules, Parallels features 97 15-second audio sources that can be scanned through to create esoteric new tones and combined with other sources thanks to the synth's 2 oscillators. You also get 3 filter types, 5 modulator types, and 5 effects, making Parallels an intriguing prospect for those keen to explore the spooky side of sample-based synthesis. It's €149. Let's see what goes on under the hood of Parallels. We're going to start with the default patch here, and to hear everything unfettered, we're going to turn everything off. We've turned off the modulation. We're going to turn off the effects. We're going to turn off the second oscillator even, and any shaping in the first oscillator. We've got a filter there. Let's get rid of that. Now, here we just have our Digi-Strings wave scanning oscillator. We play a note, and we see that this little dude here moves around this waveform, and that represents the wave scanning position. If we move the color knob, which is basically the start of the wave scanner, move it to 0, it goes to the start of the waveform. There you go. And these controls here control the movement. So if we turn up the movement amount, it goes around the whole of the waveform, and we can control the attack and decay and get a bit of a smooth movement. I'll turn up the sustain so you can hear it all the way around. So you can have it go slow, you can have it go fast. That's very fast. And what you can do is choose from the many, many options we've got here for this audio data. Let's go for stack 1. Lovely. Now let's do a bit of modulation on that. So we'll activate our modulator. This is set to the random mode, which is a lovely soothing rainfall. And we can use that to modulate our color by turning up the modulation amount. So we'll do that now. And look, you can see it's just jiggling around like a crazy thing. Let's see what happens when we play it. There we go, we can put it into storm mode if we want to get a bit crazier. Isn't that pretty? And of course, if you want to make the sound a bit more involved, you can activate the effects. Let's have some of this action. And get some filtering in there. This is already preset to do a bit of modulation, so we'll turn that modulation off. Then we can add another sound back in. This is our anasaur. Okay, a bit of a didgeridoo vibe, I feel. We've got Shaper 2 active here. So yes. So there you go, just the briefest glimpse into the wacky world of parallels from Softube. And at number 1 is Phaseplant by Kilohertz. Taking the Kilohertz snap-in concept to the next level, Phaseplant allows you to make your own custom synths in an extremely flexible semi-modular environment. Sound generators include analog-style wavetable sampling and noise oscillators, and you can stack these in any combination you want to start building your tone. Next come multiple lanes for adding effects, using the Kilohertz snap-ins that come with your setup, and you can even modulate the majority of the oscillators at audio rate as well. You also get unlimited modulation plus 8 macros to take control over multiple synth parameters at once. Phaseplant is available at various price points from €169 to just over €300. Phaseplant is modular and very powerful indeed. Thankfully, it's not a nightmare to use. Let's see how it does its thing right now. So we click in the generators section to choose an oscillator or something like that. Let's go for an analog oscillator. There we go, sawtooth, lush. Let's make it a super saw, why not? Boom. Lovely, I'll turn that down just a little bit to make sure we're never clipping. And then I'm gonna add a filter. We do it here, like that. So I'm just gonna move it between the oscillator and the output. So everything is running in a very simple signal path. Very lovely. Let's say I wanna modulate that cutoff. Well, I just create a modulator. I'm gonna choose an LFO. Click this little doobry here, and then we choose what we want to modulate. We'll just drag up on here, click again to get rid of that stuff, and then here we go. Beautiful and oh so simple. Let's make it a bit squealy. As you can tell, it sounds very lovely, even with just the basic sounds, and you can do cool stuff like self-modulation, so we could choose the output of the filter, get it to modulate the cutoff, call me crazy, and then you hear that nastiness there. But what I find really interesting about the synth, I'm gonna bypass this stuff to demonstrate this, is this poly button in the effects lanes that we have here. So I'm gonna choose an effect here. I'm gonna choose phase distortion. I'm gonna whack it up a bit. So here's our regular dry level. Let's whack it up. Nastiness, I like it. In fact, let's play it on a bit of a lower octave. Now, as you can see, poly mode is not active at the moment. So here's what happens when we play 2 notes that kind of like, form a very simple broken chord, I guess. Kind of nasty. Let's hear how it sounds with poly activated. Still nasty, but a little bit different. Let's try that again. So what's happening here is we're swapping between processing the entire signal, so both voices at once when poly mode is deactivated, which gives us that rougher sound. But when poly mode is activated, each voice from our oscillator will get processed by the phase distortion individually, giving us a bit of a clearer sound. Now that's just a simple example, but the potential for this sort of stuff when combined with all the other modulation and processing possibilities that Phaseplant offers mean it's a potentially very exciting synth. So I would definitely recommend checking out the demo if you haven't already. Well, that was a giant load of harmonics. If you're still hungry for plug-in based fun, why not subscribe and hit that bell, and we'll be back with more real soon.